Hi everyone, it's Miss Beth, and I haven't read a book in a long time to put on our Facebook page. I'm going to be reading a few, Branches of Hope and Fireboat, and this one that I have here, This Very Tree, and they're all commemorating, remembering what happened on September 11th, 2001. Survivor Tree is very, very beautiful. It's a bit of a longer book, a nice lap book. So I won't be reading it as of right now. I don't know if I'm going to read it, but it's definitely in our library. So is Fireboat, Branches of Hope, and This Very Tree that I'm reading are not ours, but I wanted to read them anyway. So here I go. This Very Tree. And this is written by Rubin. There's nothing on the end pages, but I was thinking maybe it's a smoke. There's a nice poem by E.B. White here. It's dedicated in memory of everyone we lost on September 11th, 2001, and dedicated to the people who, after the towers fell, picked up the pieces, planted a forest, and built a new city. Especially my cousin, Stephen Adeo. In New York City, there once stood two towers. For a long time, they were the tallest buildings in the world. Below the towers was a busy plaza. Plaza is a big, empty, open space where people might meet. That's where I was planted. Most people who came to my plaza had a job in the city. I had a job too. What do you think his job is? My leaves gave people shade. My branches gave the birds a place to rest. Each year, I was one of the first trees to blossom. My flowers let everyone know spring is coming. Some trees like a quiet park or a forest, but I was a city tree. I liked the sound of the wind rushing between the tall buildings. I liked the smell of the rain on the concrete in the summer. I liked being in the plaza, watching everyone coming and going. I was in the plaza the day it happened. It was an ordinary morning until it wasn't. And the artist has no words on this page. It's almost like mirrors or maybe glass with pictures of people and things happening. I waited there alone. Around me it was dark and hot and close. Did the sun even exist anymore? It was weeks before they found me. When I came back into the light, I knew that everything had changed. The new noises and smells of the city scared me. They reminded me of what had happened. Some people put me in a truck and drove me to a nursery in a faraway park. I was grateful to be somewhere quiet. I had changed too. All winter, the people at the nursery took care of me. No one knew if my leaves would come back. They did. It was peaceful in the park. I was surrounded by other trees. Birds visited me. The first spring, a dove made a nest in my branches. Years passed, and I wondered if the city was regrowing too. Does anyone know what this is, what they're building? Sometimes when a shadow passed overhead, I thought about what happened, but being surrounded by other trees made me feel stronger. Some days, I even felt strong enough to do my old job again. That's when I knew I was ready. It was time to go home. A machine came to pull me out of the ground. The noise scared me. Leaving scared me even more. We drove downtown through the city. Now I was worried to go back. What if something bad happened again? I missed the other trees. Then I saw one shining spire and many more towers surrounding a new plaza. And in the plaza, they had planted a forest. It was filled with trees. Between the trees, they saved 3 empty spaces. 2 spaces remained where the towers once stood. They would stay empty forever. Nothing, because nothing could fill them. The 3rd space was for me. I wasn't comfortable at first. It had been so long since I'd heard the wind between the buildings or smelled wet concrete. But I was still surrounded by other trees, and that made me stronger. I had a new job too. Anyone who felt a shadow overhead could stand under my trees and find peace. Anyone who hurt could see how my branches had healed and find hope. In my plaza, filled with many trees, I was still the first to blossom. And everyone who sees my flowers knows that spring will come. So this is a true story, and there's an author's note you can read if you borrow the book. Thank you for listening.